22,000 children die each day because of poverty. Silently. In the corner of a room. Currently 15 million children grow up without parents due to their parents dying of AIDS. 270 million children don't have access to health services. 400 million children don't have access to safe water. 72 million children of primary school age are unable to go to school. And researchers say that these are optimistic numbers. 270 million are out of education worldwide. And the ones that probably do have an education, most of them have a subpar one. Like a kid here in Morningstar who's in grade 3 and still can't differentiate colors. 1.6 billion people live without electricity. As of 2016, 1.9 billion adults are overweight. 650 million of them are obese. In the United States alone, there are 123 suicides per day. In the 2015-2016 school year, a survey done in 139 colleges found out that about half of them, 1 in every 2, attended some form of mental health counseling. 1 in every 2 university students. Since 2000 to 2010, there has been a 25% increase in boys committing suicide. And the researchers say this is the greatest increase that we've ever seen. The increase for girls is 70%. That's in a space of 10 years. And it's nearly been 10 years since those 10 years were recorded. And I think it's all quite summed up nicely in this one little stat over here. A survey done in 2009 found that 69% of girls visited each other at each other's houses. That was in 2009, okay? In 2016, that number is down to 21%. From 69% to 21%. Just like that. See, people don't care about people anymore. They just care about themselves. Now I want to ask you, okay, what is God doing about it? Because He's the King of all kings. He's the Lord of all lords. He's got all of our best interests in mind. Is He surely just standing by and just watching all of this? Because you see, first of all, He didn't do any of this, okay? We did this. Humans did this. And what's more, we hardly do anything to prevent it. And to continue these unnecessary sufferings from happening. We hardly do anything to prevent it. The greatest tragedy is not the bad people who are doing bad things, because they know what they are doing. It's the appalling silence of the good people. The appalling silence of the good people. That's me. That's you. That's everyone else who calls themselves a good person, who claims to be making some form of a difference in the world. I mean, most of us are just standing by. We're doing our school things. We're playing our sport. We're doing all our stuff, and we're just watching all of this go by. And all of this happened. But you see, there is a solution. God has a strategy. And His strategy lies here. In this room. In this congregation, right here, right now, His strategy lies here. God sent Jesus to save the world, but He's going to use each and every single one of you to change it. Each and every single one of you. In each and every single one of you lies a spark of divinity, as it were. A spark of divinity. Each and every single one of you has capacity to change the world. God didn't do it. I love this poem. Christ has no body now but yours. No hands, no feet on earth but yours. Yours are the eyes through which He looks compassion on this world. Yours are the feet which He walks to do good. Yours are the hands through which He blesses the world. Yours are the hands, yours are the feet, yours are the eyes. You are His body. Christ has no body on earth now but yours. See, the plan was you all along. Right from the beginning already. Right from Genesis. I mean, people always ask me like, yeah, if the purpose just of a Christian's existence is just to go out and tell people about Jesus. I was like, oh, okay, fine. And then Adam and Eve, like, what was it then? Like, were they just supposed to bloom and just wait for Jesus to come and make mistakes? No. The plan was always for you to change the world. Because it says in Genesis, it says he makes all of you in his image as representatives of him to go out and represent him out in the world. He says, go out, multiply, rule over the birds of the sea, the birds and creatures in the sea. That's what he says to each and every single one of us. Go out and rule. Don't stay just in your place of comfort. Go out and rule. You see, Adam and Eve were just given Eden, okay? They were just given Eden. They were here, they were just here. But God was like, okay, go out. So surely all the world wasn't conquered yet. Surely it wasn't just bliss all over the world. But God spoke and he said to them and he gave them the task. He was like, go out. Go out and change the world. He gave it to them. He didn't give it to anyone else. He gave it to humankind. He didn't give it to animals. He didn't give it to plants or anything like that. Anything else alive? No. He gave it to you, his representatives, his image bearers. You know, there's a verse where it says, I don't know if you can remember, the Pharisees are coming up to Jesus and they're asking him about taxes, about giving things to Caesar and all of that. And Jesus replies simply, he says, render to Caesar what is Caesar's. And render to God what is God's. Now he stopped there, but if I was standing there, I would have had a follow-up question. I would have asked, okay, God, what is God's? Like, what is this? And he probably would have responded, whose image is on you? Render to Caesar what is Caesar's. Render to God what is God's. What is God's? Whose image is on you? You are God's strategy for changing the world. And I'm going to show it to you here. Look here, it's in the Bible. Most people don't see it, but it's there. Okay, let's just go through a few of these scriptures. It says, defend the cause of the weak and the fatherless. Uphold the rights of the afflicted and the oppressed. Learn to do right. Seek justice. Defend the oppressed. Take up the cause of the fatherless. Plead the case of the widow. If a man shuts his ear to the cry of the poor, he too will cry out and not be answered. When God's people are in need, be ready to help them. Always be eager to practice hospitality. Let our people learn to devote themselves to good works so as to help cases of urgent need and not be unfruitful. Each one of us should use whatever gift he has received to serve others, faithfully administering God's grace in various forms. By this, all people will know that you are my disciples, if you love one another. By the love you have for one another, guys. If anyone has material possession and sees his brother in need, but has no pity on him, how can the love of God be in him? Dear children, let us not love with words or tongue, but with actions and in truth. And now I'll ask you now, people killing, people dying, children hurting, hear them crying. Would you practice what you preach and would you turn the other cheek? Father, help us. Send some guidance from above. Because these people got me questioning, where is the love? That was a song I heard from the Black Eyed Peas. I heard it the other day for the first time at university. I'm going to be honest, I was a bit behind the curve. But my friend played this to me and we'd just been having a conversation about selfishness and he thinks everyone in this world is driven by selfishness. And this is an atheist. This guy is like full on, and like he's full on diving deep into the wrong kind of things. And I spoke to him, I was like, wow, you're actually so right, you're so accurate. And he said, people ought to be driven by love, but they're not. They're just seeking their own selfish ways, their own selfish desires. It was like, Enrique, why do you think these people at university, they're not here to make any difference of the world. No, they're here to pleasure themselves. They're here to get money and run away. That's the only reason why they're here. They say they're going to give back to the community one day, but can't Enrique, they're not going to do that. That's what an atheist was able to tell me. That was his perspective on the world. And now I want to ask you, what are we actually doing with our time? Okay? This dire need in the world exists over there. Amounts of people committing suicide each and every single day, all the time. What are we doing about it? What does your average day look like? What are you making an idol of in your life? Because as Bruce says, an idol is a good thing that becomes an ultimate thing. It's not necessarily a bad thing to just play a bit over here, indulge in this a bit over here. I mean, everyone eats chocolate. Chocolate's lekker. It's not the best thing for you, but everyone eats chocolate, so it's lekker. But if you were to eat chocolate all the time, that's not good for you. So what are you making an idol in your life? The typical things we say, you're making it. It's probably like games or something like that. But what if it's sport? What if it's your academics? How much time are you putting into that? And how much time are you putting in with God? What if it's those simple things? What if it's the things that we don't really think it is? I had to reevaluate my goals, my purposes in life, just now the other day actually. And I had to re-look what I've done because of this one simple example. You see, a long time ago, I think it was about maybe like 4 or 5 years ago, something like that, I was playing a soccer match, okay? I was playing striker at the time, received the ball, like we got, the ball came in, it was the opponent's corner, I touched it, got it in, beat the first player, beat the second player, beat the third player. Now, obviously, everyone was forward for the corner, so I just went ahead, gone for it, skilled the goalkeeper and scored. Like, yeah, flipping magnificent. It was brilliant. But I got off the field. I got off the field that day, and I ran straight to my father. And I asked him, Daddy, did you see? Like, did you see the goal? Did you see what I did? Did you see how I went? And I realized something now just the other day, but that's all we want in life. As Caleb was saying, we're all yearning for affirmation. That's all we want. At the end of the day, we all just want to look at our parent and want them to tell us how well we did. That's all we want to know. And if that's what our life ought to be based around, our relationship with God and the relationship with people, if those ought to be the most important things in our life, if the presence of God, as Michael said, is all we should yearn for, then how ought our lives to look? Ought they to look the way they look now? Probably not, eh? So I had to do this. I had to look up the other day and I was like, God, look here, if this is how my life truly ought to be. And I have to make some changes. So now what I do is every morning and every evening, I sit down and in the mornings I plan out my day and I pray over my day. Ask God what you want me to do today. How's it going to look? I've got this, I've got that, I've got this. And I do that for about an hour and a half. And every evening I pray and I process again. So I go through it. I'm like, okay, God, this happened. I failed here. I did well there. All of this, it was good, it was great. I'll maybe read something I'm passionate about, or I'll start typing a document. It's just whatever I'm feeling. And I'll devote it all to God. That's what it will be like. So that's how I start my day and how I end my day. If we really ought to be living just for God and for others, how ought your day to look like? Ought it to look any different than it does now? Now I want to talk about obedience. You see, people always, they come up to me and they say, like, Enrique, how are you able to do so much for your life, bro? I'm like, no, you're doing this. You're a youth pastor. You represent Durbanville and the ward committee. You're out there changing lives in Morning Star and low-key, actually high-key, you're a full-time university student, okay? How are you doing all of this? How are you finding the time to do all of this? And honestly, guys, I'm just going to be honest with you. I just listen to what God tells me and I do it. Nothing more, nothing less. Just like that. Easy come, easy go. He says do this, I do it. He says jump, I jump. He says fly, I fly. And there be some times when I'll be flying, eh? And obedience gets weird sometimes. I promise you it gets weird. If I look back a few weeks ago, okay, what did I have to do? I had an industrial psychology project to do. Mind you, a group project, it's probably the biggest loss ever, group projects. Oh my word. I had a group project to do, group industrial psychology project. I had a politics essay that required about two weeks of research time and only had a few days left to do it. I hadn't started, by the way. And then I had to do an inquiry question on, what did I do it on? Veganism. And I had all of these things that I needed to do. And I was like, and there was only a few days left before they were all handed in. I was like, hey, God, what now? Okay, I've done it again. I've messed up yet again. And now I'm before you. And now I'm seeking your will. I don't know what to do now. Please do something. And the grace that I experienced in that moment is say, He giveth more grace. When the burdens go greater, He sendeth more strength when the labors increase. To added affliction, He added His mercy. To multiply trials, He's multiplied peace. When we have exhorted our final breath of endurance, when our strength has failed, ere the day is half done, our Father's forgiving is only begun. His love has no limits. His grace has no measure. His power has no boundary known unto men. For out of His infinite riches in Jesus, He giveth, and He giveth, and He giveth again. That's a poem that I don't know how I just quoted. But yes, I had these three things that I had due. And I was like, God, okay, do something. You know what I heard God tell me? It was like this. Enrique, you have this industrial psychology project to do. Leave it. It's fine. I got that. I needed to do this project in order to pass the year, okay? God is like, no, it's fine. You can leave it. It's fine. Now this is obedience, guys, because first of all, I completed the essay 10 seconds before it was due, handed it on Turnitin, lekker. Completed the veganism question, got it done. A few hours before that group project was due, and remember, I had made no attempt to even find a group. I get an email on my student email account, and this guy asked me, he's like, hey, do you have a group for the project? And I was like, no, I don't have one yet. He's like, yeah, sure. Here's my number. Start messaging me. I started messaging this out. And I was like, yeah, I still need a group for the project and stuff. He's like, yeah, bro, you can join our group. It's all good. It's all great. So I was like, okay, but what work do I need to do? Like, I mean, it's due now in a few hours. Can I help? Can I contribute? Can I do anything? They were like, no, bro, we've done the project already. All you got to do is just like put your number down, and then we got it. And we'll hand it to you on your behalf. I was like, shoo. Yeah, when you talk about obedience, when you talk about cutting it close, Michael said it the other day. He was like, you talk this Christian talk and you walk this Christian walk, but when the stuff actually happens, you're still in utter shock. I mean, you shook in your core, like you're done. You are so done if the stuff happens. And that's just a small case of what happens to those who diligently seek Him. So I encourage you guys to take up your cross. I mean, here, the Bible says in Matthew 16, verse 24 to 26. And then Jesus said to His disciples, if anyone desires to come after me, let him deny himself, and let him take up his cross and let him follow me. For whoever desires to save his life will lose it. But whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. For what profit is it to a man if he gains the whole world and loses his soul? Or what will a man give in exchange for his soul? Even more, let me get the Message version out for you guys. Then Jesus went to work on His disciples. He went to work on His disciples. Yes, see. Anyone who intends to come with me has to let me lead. You're not in the driver's seat. I am. Don't run from suffering. Embrace it. Follow me and I'll show you how. Self-help is no help at all. Self-sacrifice is the way. My way to finding yourself. Your true self. What kind of deal is it to get everything you want but lose yourself? What could you ever trade your soul for? And that's what this thing is about. It's about denying yourself and following Christ. Dying to self, actually dying to self, giving up your own desires, your own purpose for your life, what you think you might want to do, and actually look at God and ask Him, what do you want me to do? That's what it looks like. That's what this radical obedience looks like. I'm not calling you to radical, like terrorism or anything like that. It's just obedience, okay? Radical obedience, trusting and walking daily with God. That's all it is about. It's all about obedience. Okay, now let me actually just get into it, okay? What has God actually asked you to do, okay? I mean, surely He's asking you guys to do some things. And even if He hasn't, I mean, if someone doesn't ask you to do something and you're doing nothing, then ask for a job. Like, I mean, okay, my father, okay, my daddy, okay, he's the greatest, I love him. But he used to get so angry with me, and we used to have such big arguments when I was younger. Because I would be sitting at home, I'd have nothing to do. It was probably holiday time. Yeah, holiday time coming soon for you, some of you oaks. Holiday time, I'm sitting and doing nothing. For some reason, I have nothing to do with my life. And I might just be playing a PlayStation game or whatever, and he walks past and he's like, Enrique, what are you doing? So it's like, nothing. I'm not doing anything. And he's like, why aren't you doing anything? I was like, I don't have anything to do. I was like, then you ask for something to do, okay? You don't just sit and do nothing. You go out and you ask me for something to do. I was like what? Like, what is there to do? It's like, no, you can ask to help me with my work. You can ask and I can tell you to sweep the floor or something. You can help in the garden. You can help with any one of those things. Just ask for something to do. So I encourage each and every single one of you, ask for something to do. It says in 2 Chronicles 16 verse 9, the eyes of the Lord search the whole earth in order to strengthen those hearts who are fully committed to Him. What a beautiful picture. I mean, here's God looking down upon the earth, looking for people to display His might through, to display His strength through. And all you have to do is be obedient to Him. All you have to do is accept His call. And He will display His might through you. I mean, look at that. And I want to tell you something. There isn't just one way to be called. I mean, people just thinking nowadays, you just probably have to hear somewhere miraculously from God, like in the Old Testament. He's just going to speak down to you and He's going to rain down fire or something. There are different ways to be called. Let's look at a few examples in the Bible. I mean, Moses, God appeared to him through a burning bush, and then magically God was there. Gideon, he was feeling depressed, just lumming, and God spoke to him. And he was angry and he wanted to do something about his people, and God spoke to him. David, a prophet just came around and gave him a word of knowledge, just like that, quickly. Nehemiah, he was a cupbearer, That's all he was. He was a cupbearer. He was helping this other king. And he just told this king, the king saw, he was sad, he was like, what's wrong, Nehemiah? He was like, my people, they're not doing lekker. They're struggling. And the king was like, right, okay, here are soldiers, here are horses, here's money, here's whatever you want, go out and change the world. Just like that. He was a cupbearer. That's all he had to do. And this is how it works in the New Testament, through Jesus, through the New Testament. It says in Hebrews 8 verse 10, but this is the new covenant that I will make with the people of Israel. And on that day, says the Lord, I'll put my laws in their minds and I will write on their hearts. I will be their God and they will be my people. See, the beautiful thing about living this Christian life is that when God does something through you, He wants something to be accomplished through you. You want to do what He wants you to do. Okay? You found that? You want to do. He makes you want to do what He wants you to do. It's easy. It's simple. I mean, I say it through this. Through doing what you love, you'll change what you hate. I just thought of that the other day, because I mean, I usually ask people like, just do what you love, change what you hate. But it's actually through doing what you love that you will change what you hate on this earth. And so this is how it works. You'll see a need and you'll feel compelled to meet it. Okay? So look, ask yourself now, what am I so frustrated by in the world? Is there something particularly about people? Okay, people irritate everyone, but is there something particularly about people that irritate me? Is it their ignorance? Is it the fact that people keep on getting sick the whole time? And then you might be called to change exactly that. And if people are sick, you might be called to, in some realm of the medical world, okay? If you feel there's an issue with society at large, you might be called to some civic duty, okay? If there's ignorance, you might be called to be a teacher of some sort, okay? If you hate lawlessness, you might be called to some form of enforcement or in the justice realm. And you know, perhaps it's not what you look like. Perhaps it's not what you think it looks like, okay? Perhaps it's not like that. Maybe your parents got an idea of what your calling is going to be like. Perhaps it's not like that. Maybe you've got an idea. Perhaps it's not like that. Maybe you think it's the way for you and you ought to be going to university and maybe you think that's your call. Maybe you shouldn't be going to university. I don't know. I mean, Michael dropped out. I mean, shock. But you see, it's because he was serious. It's because he was seeking God's will for his life and not any other will on this earth. He was seeking God's will and God told him, look here, you got to be doing something else, buddy. There we go. You see, guys, life is a gift. And since life is a gift, given from God to us, sent it real fast. Since life is a gift given to us, we have responsibility. Okay, there comes with a sense of responsibility with this gift. And you see the thing about rights. Okay, everyone's going around, oh, you're so damn oppressed, oh, you just need rights, this and that, all over. No. It's not about your rights, it's about your responsibilities. The only reason you have rights is to foster an environment for you to go out and display your responsibilities. You have a responsibility to change this world. So go out and do it. Okay, come guys, stand. I'm gonna tell you guys a love story. Oh. Okay, come, close your eyes. Shh, close your eyes. So here's the story, okay? Imagine this. God wants you to love, and He wants you to do good, okay? He wants you to love, He wants you to do good. He creates you, your absolute magnificence. And in order for you to love, and in order for you to do good, one has to choose to love, and one has to choose to do good. Okay? But what do we choose? We so often choose to do wrong. He's given us the amazing gift of free will. He's given us the ability to choose, to make a difference in the world, to alleviate some of the poverty in this world. But so often we don't choose to do that. But there's more. There's more. So what God does is, and this is the difference, where Christianity is different from any other religion. Christianity says there's grace. Christianity says your deeds can't get you into heaven. It's not by your deeds. It's not by your works. It's by God's. Christianity says that love doesn't leave you out to dry. I mean, think of the fact that you're a parent, okay? Are you only going to love your child if they get 100% for maths, or if they just are an essay hockey player or something like that? No, you're going to love your child despite that. So you were given the choice, you messed up, and this is what God did. He offers up His love to you. But the beautiful thing about love is you have to choose it. You have to choose to love. So close your eyes, guys. If there's anyone here today that wants to choose, that wants to accept that love, that realizes, hey, okay, I'm not going to change the world on my own. I want to do it by God's standards. I want to seek His will for my life. I want a purpose. I want a destiny. I want His will and not my own. If you've never done and accepted that before, I want you to raise your hand. With every eye closed right now, I want you to raise your hand. There we go. Yeah. And I want you all to pray this prayer with me. For our new brothers and sisters that have now given their life to the Lord, that have given their life to God's will and God's purpose. Just repeat after me. Lord Jesus, I give my life to you alone. Lord God, I acknowledge I've messed up, but I seek your will, and I seek your love, and I seek your forgiveness. Help me, God, to live a new life from today onwards. One will I'll seek you above all else. I believe that you died for my sins, and that grace washes me clean. And forever and ever, I will love and I'll seek only you. In Jesus' name. Amen. Woo! Can we get a round of applause for all our people that just became born again, that gave their life to the Lord? Okay, the next step now is to get baptized, okay? You guys got to get baptized.